the elf shelf escaping from Santa's workshop.
That was the last one.
Peter was the elf on the shelf, and like you fly out, and like Santa turns out he's in like a loveless marriage or something, and he tries to come with us, but then like Deshaun like kicks him off.
In Central European folklore, Krampus is a horned anthropomorphic figure described as half goat, half demon, who during the Christmas season punishes children who have misbehaved, in contrast with St. Nicholas, who rewards the well-behaved with gifts.
Oh, so he's basically like Santa's partner.
He's anti-Santa.
Krampus is one of...
I feel like he's not anti-Santa. If he was anti-Santa, he would go around punishing the good kids.
Let me read the sentence.
Well, he's punishing the bad kids.
Let me read the sentence. Krampus is one of the companions of St. Nicholas. Boom, boom. In several regions, including Austria, Bavaria, Croatia, Czech Republic?
Czech Republic? What the hell, man?
Yeah, so he's like his partner, because Santa goes around rewarding good kids, and Krampus goes around punishing the bad kids. So there's no overlap. Now, if there's a good kid and bad kid in the same house, does Krampus and Santa both go at the same time?
It's whatever the kid sees first.
Well, we'll find out.
Wait, what?
I'm just in my own theory, but like, as in maybe Santa's just an illusion, it's just both of them at the same time. It's just that,
you know, they see some spirit, and depending if their soul is good or bad, it will materialize Krampus or something. Okay.
That's what I'm thinking of right there.
It's a dark and snowy night, and we're 4 lost kids who are seeking shelter from running away from our homes because we were very bad kids. We're from out of town. We ran away from our homes, and we've gone through, and we're walking. And then, next thing you hear is a train whistling, the train go by, like the train engine. And so what happens is we look down the road, and a train is on its way through. And then we look, and the train is coming, and then it stops right in front of us. And we all look at each other.
The train pulls up. You hear the train's whistle. The toot. Yeah. So we all staring at the train, a little terrified because this thing looks pretty menacing. It is like, it's covered, it's in Christmas colors, but almost like in the upside down version, right? So it's a little messed up. Like all the Christmas ornaments on it are broken. So like the Christmas balls are like broken, so they're shardy and they're pointing, looking all dangerous. Weird red substances like covering the bottom of it. Now a conductor walks out and he yells, "All aboard!" So we look around and this guy's like loud as shit. Like how's nobody in these houses hear this guy? And he yells, "All aboard!" And he's looking up while he's yelling. So we're like, okay, well we're not getting aboard. So then he looks down straight at us, dead in the eyes, and says very, very quietly, and at this point, we know that it's a not good idea to get on the train, and yet we know that we have to get on this train. This man will not let us not get on this train. So one by one, we shuffle up into the first cart, or the back cart. This is actually the back of the train. So we shuffle up into the back cart and us some black tickets. Each one for each.
And afterwards, we look at it confused, and he said, "These are your tickets to be aboard. If you lose them, there will be a consequence, and you can't walk off this train." He disappears. And he just disappears into the night.
On the train, or he just got off?
He just disappears into the night. We don't know where he went. He's probably.
Fair enough.
So then we all look at each other like, what are we gonna do? We're on this train now. And then when we look ahead, it's a full cart of other kids. All 4 of us try to look for an open space. Brian sees somebody who looks at him and already having beef with them, I decide to sit down. Anthony, he sits down, and then Peter can't find a seat, so he goes to stop Brian from fighting.
I just want to clarify that we are actually all not pajamas because we had run away in the meal. Right? So we all had pretty standard, kid pajamas. We got, like a graphic tee with like SpongeBob or Star Wars on it. We got our pajama pants, and we all got a robe. And now this is very important because what Peter had not noticed as he was walking down the aisle to find a robe, to find a seat, is that his robe got snagged on one of the chairs. And he kept walking, he heard a little, but he didn't think anything of it. And what he didn't know is that a small, ever so slightly ticket-shaped hole was dripped right in his robe's pocket where he put his ticket.
I just keep on walking because I didn't realize my ticket had fallen out of my pocket. So as I keep walking to see Brian stopping from fighting, I'm like, Brian, what the fuck? What you doing, man? Nah. So as I try to grab Brian, the other guy punches me and was like, you motherfucker, and I punch him back. And then Brian's just in the corner
Little
smoking
kids, right?
on his bones.
Just confirming they're little kids fighting.
Yeah, we're little kids fighting grown men. I might be a little biased, got a little straight.
Well, while that's happening, we hear very scratchy Christmas music come on the radio. And it sounds like old 60s music, old ghosts. And at that moment, the conductor reappears at the very front of the train car where all the kids are sitting. So we're in the back. Peter went to go find his seat, and the train conductor is all the way in the front. Now, there's probably like 12 rows of kids. And he yells, hold out your tickets. All the kids hold up their tickets because when Scary Conductor Man yells, hold up your tickets, just do it.
Yeah,
So
it's
he
kind of
starts walking
scary.
down the aisle, punching tickets, and before we know it, he gets to Peter. And he says, hold out your ticket.
So I put my hand in my pocket to get my ticket. It's not there.
Yeah, sir. Wait! Yells Anthony, running up. I have his ticket. Oh, good. Thank this young gentleman because he found your ticket on the floor. Some random kid is yelling, I want 2 tickets. And the conductor looks down at the boy and he says, you know what this means? And the kid said, yeah, but he deserves it anyway. So the conductor takes the kid's 2 tickets and he punches him. And the kid gets to get off the train. And he says, now you're coming with me. And he grabs Peter's hand and he storms past the passenger cart up into the front part, towards the front of the train, where he was gated off that we couldn't go without the conductor allowing us to. So now I'm the back of the train with Deshaun and Brian. I'm like, what? He just took Peter. He's gonna kill him. What are we gonna do?
So we all look at Brian as he nods his head, saying no, what? He can't even respond.
Deshaun, what are we gonna do?
I'm already flustered by what just happened, but I do decide that we have to go save Peter. Because if we all 4 of us came on this train, all 4 of us get off this train. However, we decide to get off. So I grabbed Brian, who beat up the kid finally. He finally beats up the kid, so I stop him. I'm like, all right, come on, let's go. And then I tap on to Anthony, who's frozen after seeing Peter, one of his closest friends, get snatched up by a grown-ass man.
We head up to the front of the cart, and the door's locked. We shake it, but there's no budging. So we look at each other, and we're like, well, what are we gonna do? And at that moment, the lights in our cart start shaking, and they start going black. Then we start hearing a voice. All that have tickets might live to see the end of the day. If you lose your ticket, you die. If you present another's ticket to me, you walk off this train. We were bad kids who ran away from home, so the train that was presented to us belonged to Sir Krampus. We realized what we had done and where Peter was off to. He was off to the front of the train towards Krampus. Now we only have one option to go save him. The door's not going to budge. So Deshaun pries open the window and he says, "Guys, look, this is it. We have to climb on top of the train."
And I go first, and I'm on top of the train. And I'm looking ahead. You don't see anything around you. It's a dark void. The only light ahead is what's being made by the train itself. Everywhere else is completely dark. So, since I barely could see, I hold on to the train, and then I call out to the other two to come, and then Brian is up next.
Brian tries to climb out, right? He grabs a hold of the window, and he starts making his way up slowly, putting his foot here, he gets some grip, putting his hand there, and right as he's about to hit the top, he slips. So he's hanging off the train, he's holding on by one hand, so 9-year-old Deshaun runs over, and he's like, "No, Brian, I'm not gonna let you fall, come on." So he grabs Brian's other hand, and Anthony comes out the window and kicks Brian up, and he just sticks his foot out and is just trying to shove Brian up towards Deshaun because the little kids don't even understand how to help him.
He's freaking out completely, and I'm like, "You're alright, Brian, you're okay." And then, come to find out, I lose my ticket. And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know, where's my ticket at?" The ticket, we notice it, Anthony notices that it's hanging off the edge of the train. So I'm like, "Oh, I gotta go get my ticket." By the time I try to make an attempt to go get the ticket, the ticket blows away into the dark void. And now I'm freaking out because I don't have my ticket and only these two do.
So Brian's ticket blows away too. That shit was in his hands because he was looking at it and he didn't understand why these tickets were so important, and a gust of wind came by and blew right out of his hands. So now Anthony's the only one left with his ticket. So, all right, guys, look, I know this is a big deal, but we got to get to Peter and we'll figure this all out later. All right, that's the most important thing. So we head up towards the train. And we climb cart by cart. It's like snowing now. So there's like snow building up on top of the train. It's really cold and we're all in our pajamas, so we're freezing. Onto pipe wherever on the top of the train that like lets steam out, right? And from there we hear some voices coming from down below. And we hear Peter yelling. "Ah!" and saying, "Help!" And at that moment, we pretty much almost decide we do not want to help him. But he keeps on yelling. And we really reconsider if we need to be helping. Not too far from the conductor or the steam pipe, just far ahead is actually a little door that leads down. So one of those like escape doors on the top of the train. And then Brian gets it tight, but he still can't get it open. All three of the little children try, and they pull and they tighten this thing, and eventually, boom, it nudges right straight open.
It opened because I select the unlock switch.
Yeah, but as soon as Peter selects the unlock switch, the conductor who brought him up that was dragging him to the Krampus part notices that, punches him straight in the face. Makes him unconscious. He's gonna be down for a couple seconds. So we all hop down into the train. What we actually see is Peter is chained up to like a big pole in the middle. By
Dark elves. Those are the dark elves.
Chained by some dark elves.
Doesn't sound as jolly.
They're dark elves.
But once the conductor punched Peter, the good thing was he headed back towards the other kids to go serve them their hot cup of V8 because they don't get hot chocolate on the train. They get hot V8 because they don't drink it all the time. Shit goes down. That's another story. So he goes back to do that. So now we're just stuck in the room with the dark elves. There's 3 of them. They're dressed kind of like Dobby from Harry Potter, like just some weird rags. Not because they have to be, it's just like,
that's kind of
anyway,
scary.
So we look at them, and they look at us, and we both pause for a moment. Kids never make it up here of their own free will, and what's going on?
It's just the dark elves arrive after serving the kids that hot V8. Ugh. That's how it goes when you're on the Krampus Express. we start to hear jingles. They're not jingle bells of joy. They're very ominous, spooky. A giant gust of like wind coming into us, and we're like chilled down the spine. Brian, he's confused, dazed by what's going on. As me and Anthony look around, and then all you see is a dark mist come and surround us. And then right in front of us appears Krampus himself.
Now, Krampus looks just absolutely terrifying. He looks basically like the Boogeyman and like Santa Claus. Absolutely scary. Now, he's actually eating when he spawns in. And look up, and he's a massive guy. He's like 8 feet tall. Look up at him, and what is he eating? And he's holding 2 pairs of legs. He's wearing pajamas. He was just straight up munching.
Extra V8.
Sean knows because he remembers the pajamas the kid was wearing when he walked off the train. You know, his mouth is just covered in like bones and blood. That's it. And he looks down.
The thing is, he's not really much of a talker. He just stares at you. His hood is like a cloak, so we can barely see what he looks like under the hood. And all you hear is a little like grunt type thing. And we back up towards Peter, who's trying to break free still. And then we all look at Krampus. Krampus lands down in front of us on the floor, and the dark elves surround us. And we look up, and what Krampus does is
Give me your tickets. At this point, our little party gets real nervous because we only got 1 ticket among us. So Anthony looks around, he looks at his friends, and he doesn't know what to think anymore. And that's when Anthony realizes that all this ticket stuff is a sick game, and everyone on that train is not going to make it back home on Christmas Day. So he looks at the ticket, and he shoves that shit in his mouth, and he eats it, and he swallows, and he says, "There ain't no tickets anymore."
this is the first time that anybody in history gets to see what Krampus truly looks like under the cloak. And so what he does is he takes off his cloak, and then it reveals a were-bunny.
Thousands of images flying through the young boys' eyes, and they see a distant future where they all went to the same college and lived in an apartment in the village together. And they were hanging out one night just trying to order Dominoes, and weird bunny stuff happened, and there was renaissances and art and what's the other word? Seances. And they were bringing bunnies back, and there was like Peter Mercer and security details and murder and Call of Duty and people jumping out windows and stuff getting locked in the rooms. And then they snap out of it, and they look dead into the eyes of the first winter were-bunny that had ever existed.
I'm still locked up on a chain. I'm just
Brian freed Peter from the weird things like I don't know, a couple minutes ago. So Peter's out now. The boys are confused. They don't know what they just saw, a distant future or an alternate world or maybe just a dream, or are they in a flashback now? Everything seems so confusing. They were only 9 years old and it was cold. It was Christmas night. We're sad.
We're freaking.
And although I'm scared, I just
look
look
like
at
V8
it
everywhere.
and I question to myself, I got fed hot V8 by a fucking bunny?
He charges at the were-bunny with his slippers. But he accidentally trips. His slippers came loose, and he tumbles over, and he falls right at the feet of the were-bunny. So he's actually not dead, but he's very embarrassed, and his pride is pretty hurt. So the were-bunny steps on Peter, but Peter manages to wriggle out because the were-bunny accidentally stepped on his robe. So now he wiggles out, and he's even colder, and he learned his lesson to not charge at the were-bunny.
But also in consequence, because Krampus is always known about consequences, he bites Peter in the neck. And then what happens is Peter turns into another winter wear bunny.
But like really tiny one. It's like 9-year-old winter wear bunny. So he starts like morphing. You can still see Peter in there, but then like his facial features change and his ears get longer and his nose gets all weird bunny shaped, and he starts like hopping around all bunny legs.
And I hop to the rest of the guys. I'm like, yo, what's up? You already bounced.
And we're confused because we don't understand what winter wear bunny language is.
All they do is squeak, 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 squeak.
So Brian decks winter weird bunny Peter in the nose.
Due to the confusion of we don't understand, we try to escape after suddenly the dark elves turn into winter wear bunnies themselves, and we're freaking out. And then Brian figures out a passage of escape.
Fortunately, Krampus notices this escape and just completely ignores it. And he backs the kids into a corner where the intercom radio was. Werebunny Peter, being outcasted by all the other werebunnies because he was smaller and weird in form, it wasn't like pure dark elf, gets back in the corner too. And the boys, like, they're young, so they haven't had all their education yet, but they do know that bunnies like to reproduce. So Brian strikes an idea.
I ain't fucking no bunny.
Alright, Brian doesn't have an idea. Sean has an idea. We're back into the corner with the radio.
The first lines he says, I'm not fucking bunny.
Anthony has an idea. Freedom, boys, alright? Back into the corner with the radio. So Anthony flips that shit onto some Marvin Gaye. Sexual healing. You know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, the lights get real dim. And romantic dim. And all the bunnies get turned on because they hear Marvin Gaye playing. Now they're wear bunnies, but they're bunnies. They all get turned on. So they all get in the mood. So they all hop on top of each other and begin the reproduction love process.
And I'm just looking, because I'm in the corner with just staring at all of this shit. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on, man?
At that moment, the boys take their chance and they run to the room where the brakes are.
And then we are
and they
attacked.
pull the brake.
And then we're attacked by the conductor, who then pulls the brake again to stop us.
So Werebunny Peter bites him on the leg, while
And
and
then-
punches him in the nuts. And Anthony grabs the brake and they pull that shit again.
And then afterwards, Werebunny Peter starts to rip the conductor to shreds. He loses all of his mentality, all of his consciousness, everything that we know about Peter has been wasted away by this berserk winter werebunny, who then looks at us.
As I'm mauling apart this conductor, I rip off his mask. It's Santa Claus. But he's Santa Claus's face.
Yeah, basically Peter already lost it. He's like Werebunny phase right now, so he's not even Peter anymore. So he's just attacking whatever's nearby. And he bites. Before Brian can do anything, he bites Brian on the ankle, and Brian quickly transforms into Werebunny. And Werebunny Brian bites Deshaun, and Deshaun quickly turns into Deshaun Bunnyware.
Oh wait, Deshaun
And then they all turn to Anthony, who had just pulled the brake once more on the train, backed up onto the train counter. And Anthony doesn't know what to do. All his friends have been converted into weird Christmas winter creatures.
And then the next thing you know, right next to him arrives Krampus.
So Krampus materializes and grabs Anthony's hand, and he says, "Boy," mouth extends into some huge, look like I don't know, like a python or something. His mouth grows humongous, like he's about to just come down to bite me. The werebunnies from behind me, Peter, Deshaun, Brian, all grab onto my legs and bite on my legs so I can't move. But at that moment, everything changes. Suddenly, Anthony's no longer on the train, surrounded by werebunnies, surrounded by scary Krampus. He's back in his hometown, in his bedroom.
With a bloody leg. Because his rabbit was slowly eating him over the night.
He didn't know was that ticket he had eaten was actually a representation of his Christmas spirit. He thought that he couldn't hold on to it when everyone around him was losing theirs. So he internalized it and he ate it, and it became part of him in his digestive system, and he once again regained his Christmas spirit.
So he walks out of his house in his hometown and looks around, and everything looks completely normal. And then Anthony starts to walk down the street, and he says hello to his neighbor.
What time of day is it?
It's daytime, but it's snow outside.
Christmas morning?
So it's about Christmas morning. So what happens is he says hi to his neighbor, and what's awkward is his neighbor is Peter. Peter, you don't live around here. And then Peter is like, oh, I've always been here. What are you talking about? And then across from Peter
is Brian.
On this brand new bike across the street.
Says, yo, what's up, Peter? What's up, man?
And then
bike.
And so with me, I walk up and I'm like, and I say hello to the guys, and everybody looks at me and like, you don't live here. You live 2-3 states away. Like you're like 12 hours. And I was like, oh, I live down the street. I actually live in this town. And we're all confused. And then the next thing you know, we look up and there's a bird in the sky. And then we see the bird. It's flying by, but once it hits past the border of the town, it smacks into a glass.
And we hear the whistle from the Krampus.
And then we hear some jingles. And then we start hearing those jingles from before.
We all say fuck. Alright, everybody. I hope you enjoyed our Wonderland Christmas Krampus special. I hope you remember to be good this Christmas, and that you get to spend it with your loved ones, and that you get all the commercialized gifts you want or don't.
Yeah, you already know who it is.
Alright, thanks for listening. Bye.